own goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some frickin' money. It's time for Pocket with Jo. Good morning, everyone. Jo here of SportsGrid. It's time for Pocket with Jo over here on a SportsGrid TV on X. Thank you guys so much for being here. We need an extreme bounce back off of yesterday. You guys know that I was liking those home dogs. The home dogs let us down, as well as Chicago out there on the road versus the Toronto Maple Leafs, not able to cover that puck line. So the Rangers look dead in the water right away in that first period. The Devils just coming out so strong. I'm waiting for this Rangers team to return back to form. They're absolutely struggling out there, and we know Utah wasn't able to get it done either. So we had the reverse sweep yesterday. Never a good feeling, but I do think we bounce back in this matchup today. So we're going to go over everything. Happy Tuesday to everyone out there. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here on the daily. You really bring a smile to my face. Now, there's a couple of records we need to look at. Jordan Binnington is playing today. This will be game number 300 for Jordan Binnington. He's played 299 games, so game number 300 for him. Who else are we looking at? I'm just looking at a couple people who are sitting right about to break some records. We have Marc-Andre Fleury needs 14 more career games to take the second career games in history for a goaltender. So there's a couple of goalies to watch, Binnington being the main one today. I'm just looking at Kopitar of the Kings. He's 2 games away from playing game 1400. Sidney Crosby is 2 games away from playing game 1300. Neither of those guys are in action today. Drew Doughty, we know him. Ryan O'Reilly, 2 games away from 1100. Well, these guys are 2 games away, so we're not going to circle them today. Trevor Lewis, 1 game away from game number 1000. Okay, so no one really of a note here. Okay, Dougie Hamilton. Dougie Hamilton is 1 game away from game number 1000. So he plays with the Devils, so they're not in action today either. Okay. No one we really need to circle here. Let's move into today's action. Again, if you can't hang around for the full show, make sure you come back for that recap. Again, you guys, huge bounce back I needed today off just a terrible one yesterday. Reverse sweep of those 3 games. With the New York Islanders taking on the Montreal Canadiens, the first game we'll break down. The Islanders rolling in as the favorite over Montreal, plus 108 for the Montreal Canadiens, total of 5.5. That 5.5 is juiced to the over at minus 124. And I'd be looking at this one going over the total before I looked at it staying under. You've got Sorokin in goal for the Isles, and I know the Isles want to be that strong defensive team, but Sorokin has been allowing in those goals. We know Sam Montague has been doing the same. Patrick Laine will make his debut tonight. You know how I know for sure he's making it? Because the books are giving you player props on Patrick Laine. Yeah, yes, he hasn't played forever, but this is his debut here. I really do think they get him the puck, and he ends up finding the back of the net, making a statement in his first game. And I know there's concerns that he hasn't been at game speed for over the last year, having that knee injury, being picked up by Montreal from Columbus, but I still believe that he's going to be hugely impactful for this team. You can look at his point tonight. I'm going to look for that anytime goal. I wouldn't be shocked if he comes out and he scores that goal right off the shot, like the first shot on net for him tonight. So I would look at him for the first goal as well. His anytime goal coming in at plus 260. He's going to be hugely impactful for this lineup for Montreal, and I'm expecting them to find a lot of rhythm with him out there on the ice. Remember, he went out on their road trip with them, so he has been immersed in this team. I think those connections will come. Because of him, because of the strength I think he's going to bring to this team, automatically straight out of the gate, I think Montreal gets the win. I'm going to take Montreal at home here on the money line. the odds on the money line for the Montreal Canadiens at plus 108. Now, this has moved significantly, and I think it is because people are seeing Patrick Laine will be in the lineup. It was plus 135 last night. So that movement, you have lost some value there. But you look at Montreal at home, they've won 6 of the last 8 versus the Islanders. So they've had a strong home ice presence versus the Islanders. And we've seen between these two teams, the home team has won the last 7 meetings. So it has been a home ice advantage between these two. And when I look at the Islanders, their special teams I can't trust. They're not strong on the power play. They're not strong on the kill. And Montreal has been improving on that power play, improving on the kill. So Montreal is where I have faith in. Kev, I'm glad you're leaning on the Montreal Canadiens as well with me. Okay. The Seattle Kraken taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, the Canes are coming into this one, losing their last 2 games out there on the ice. You know this team is going to be frustrated. They were at the Panthers on Saturday, lost that 6-0, got completely shut out. Friday, in a day game, at home, they lost to the Florida Panthers as well, 6-3. Everyone expecting them to bounce back off of that loss on Saturday was highly disappointed in them because they got completely shut out. The Florida Panthers dominated in that one. Now they're sitting 3rd in the Metro still. The Seattle Kraken sitting 7th in the Pacific. The Seattle Kraken giving the start here to Joey Daccord, at least he's expected. Their kill is coming in at 78.7%. They're going to have to do their darndest to stay out of the box because you look at the Carolina Hurricanes, strong power play here, 26.6% conversion rate on that power play. Spencer Martin expected to get the start here for them tonight. Now, when we look at the Carolina Hurricanes off those 2 losses, I do expect them to really bounce back in this game. We've seen Seattle lose their last 3. They had those 2 losses to the Sharks, and the Sharks, you guys know we were riding on those San Jose Sharks to make us money, and they were able to do so. So they lost 2 games to the Sharks, and they lost a game to the Ducks. Now they're facing a Carolina Hurricanes team at home that's pissed off because they lost to Florida. There is no way I would take anything on Seattle tonight. Now, really interesting here with the books. I loved that parlay of Sebastian Aho and Seth Jarvis. They're not allowing the Seth Jarvis points in this matchup today over on FanDuel. I don't know why. So you can't parlay the 2 of them together. But if you can on your book and you're not getting it because I'm not getting on FanDuel, I would go again with Aho and Jarvis. You know we were getting that at plus money when we parlayed them last week together. But if you're looking for one of these players, because top power play as well as top line. If you're looking for one of the players to score on the power play, Seth Jarvis, again, isn't listed. I'm not sure if all of a sudden he is out. I'm seeing his goal prop, so I don't believe he is out. I should actually check the injury report, but I'm not seeing him be out. So I'm seeing no news on that. I would look at the power play point here for Aho because we are getting that. That's coming in at plus 215. Again, strong power play here, not the greatest kill for the Canes. And you know Sebastian Aho is going to look to seek revenge from what the Florida Panthers did on him against the Carolina or against the Seattle Kraken. Now, another player I would look at, second power play unit, top defensive line, Brett Barnes here. You can take him just for a point tonight, and I think that point does come in. Again, second power play, but top defensive line. His point coming in at plus 140. I like it in this one. I would also look at the Carolina Hurricanes. I'm going to take them first period puck line. I think they get off to a hot start right away. And then I'm going to take full game puck line here. The full game puck line for the Carolina Hurricanes coming in laying 1.5 is plus 106 because when you look at these lines here, they're minus 280 money line favorite in this matchup. You got a total of 6.5. Now the 6.5 juice to that under. I do think the Kraken struggle here in Carolina. Their road struggles also are something you have to look at this season. Only 4-7 on the road, and we look here at the Carolina Hurricanes, so solid at home, 9-2 at home. Now, when we look at them in night games, this is a night game. That loss on Friday at home was a day game. So those night games, they've won the last 9 night games at home. This is where they step up in front of their home fans. That was one of those games. Sometimes teams just don't do well playing those day games. So that's what we saw out of Carolina. Also, Seattle 1-5 straight up in their last 6 against the Carolina Hurricanes and 1-4 straight up in their last 5 games. So Seattle's just not a team that I can trust right now. Okay, let's move on to the next game. We have those San Jose Sharks. You guys know I love talking about the Sharks. They bring a smile to my face because they have really added to our wallet, which we needed because yesterday the books did win, but the Sharks have been moneymakers for us. So we're looking here at the Sharks rolling in at plus 235 on the money line to take on the Washington Capitals. And if you didn't see the news about Ovi has been out there skating, which is nice to see. Now, he's not putting a lot of weight, but skating weight definitely on. He's not doing high intense drills out there, but just 2 weeks post break. And Ovi is, he's a machine. He's a man on a mission, you guys. He's going to come out even stronger than ever. I truly believe when he gets back out on the ice. So if we're quickly just going to look here at player milestones and what we're getting for Ovechkin. Let's see, to break the record. They're not giving me him to break the record anymore, those odds. They have the method of breaking the odds for the 895 fifth goal. It's even strength at minus 220, power play at plus 150, shorthanded at plus 1,000. You know, if Ovi breaks this is going to be one of those times where you're like, how the heck did he get it done? I would think the value on that power play or shorthanded is so much to not say yes to that it's incredible. Now they're asking, will V get that empty netter to score his 895th? The empty netter coming in at plus 1 or plus 1,200. It's an all right way to go. I would rather take that power play. I think it's big and flashy when he does get it done. But let's look at the lines for the Sharks and the Capitals. The Sharks, again, plus 235. Total of 6.5 in this one. Juice to that under at minus 118. The Washington Capitals, again, the line keeps moving as we're talking here. They're almost a $3 favorite right now. We have Mackenzie Blackwood expected here for the San Jose Sharks and Logan Thompson for the Washington Capitals. Now, the Caps are sitting first in the Metro. They've won their last 4 games. They've been playing elite hockey out there. Saturday, they got the 6-5 win over the New Jersey Devils on the road. Now, they are at the Leafs on Friday, but it's Tuesday, you guys. Not much of a concern in a look-ahead situation, but they do have that back-to-back situation. On Friday, they have the Leafs, and then on Saturday, they have Montreal. And then not till next Thursday will they play the Columbus Blue Jackets. When we look at the San Jose Sharks, this is a scrappy team. You know, I love to bet this team. They've won their last 2, and those both were versus the Seattle Kraken in a home and road situation. Now, they've got a crazy road schedule ahead of them. It's not time to just jump on the Sharks bandwagon if you haven't been playing them. They've got Tampa on Thursday, the Panthers on Saturday, the Canes on Tuesday, the Blues on Thursday. So you look at those games, so freaking hard for this team out here. The Washington Capitals, the first in the Metro team, is where they need to start this road trip off with a bang. When we look at the San Jose Sharks, plus 1.5 on that puck line, you guys, is coming in at minus 104. I do think it holds weight here at plus 104 to the puck line with the Sharks, but what I like better is that first period for the San Jose Sharks. Now, let me just get the odds on the puck line. I'm going to take them first period money line. The first period money line, they've won the last 5 first periods versus the Washington Capitals. So they've come out and they seem to shock the Capitals in that first period. If you just want to take them puck line, I understand why that money line in the first period at plus 182. The puck line in the first period is coming in at plus 1.5 at minus 132. So you'll have to lay the juice there if you want to just take that puck line. You could also look at the San Jose Sharks total goals in the first period. You can just take them to score in the first period. It's coming in at minus 118. So if you like that puck line plus 1.5 or plus a half a goal in that first period and you still think the Sharks could score, you're better off taking the over half a goal in the first period at minus 118 because you're not having to lay as much juice. The only way you'd lose this is if we went into the second period scoreless, right? So it might be a way to look. I do like them over over half a goal in the first period. The Capitals, the book's thinking they're going to score right away out of the gate. Over half a goal in the first period is minus 260. So you guys know that is unbettable there. Yeah, I can see the Sharks and the Capitals going over that total. It's all going to depend on the Sharks if they can get those goals on the board. If you want to play the Sharks team total, if you're having faith in the total to go over, The Sharks over 2.5 goals coming in at +108. Celebrini and Tyler Toffoli have proven that they can get things done. And if you just want a straight play on the Washington Capitals, their team total 3.5 at -156. We know the Sharks have been allowing those goals to come in. I would look here at Andrew Mangiapane for the anytime goal for the Caps. Celebrini's coming in at +240 for the Sharks, and then we have Tyler Toffoli at +300. I think both of these guys will be able to get on the board today. Again, you can do some sort of parlay when you look at them. Parlaying the points here for these two players. So let's look at the points in this game. Actually, we've got goalie props already. Logan Thompson over 24.5 saved shots on goal. Mackenzie Blackwood, we have numbers for, and that's where I'd be really interested in looking at jumping into this market. Mackenzie Blackwood, they don't have just a solid number for him, but they have all the different lines. So let's see where we're getting value. 28+ save shots on goal for Mackenzie Blackwood. That's the line because that's coming in at -112. If you take him for 30+ save shots on goal, that's coming in at +154. Let me just look at one thing here for Blackwood and what his numbers are versus the Capitals and see if we can get some sort of value here on his prop. So he's 3-9-1 in 14 games versus the Washington Capitals with 3.59 goals against average and an .879 save percentage. So this has been a team that has hit him hard. I don't think I would look at his save shots on goal tonight. I wouldn't touch it. They're only giving you overs on that. I would stay off of it. He does need to stand on his head for the Sharks to keep this one competitive. But I think the best bet here is to look at the Sharks in the first period, for them to come out strong, really get that big first period under their belt versus the Capitals. Could they win this? Absolutely. It's a crazy road schedule. They need to start off with a win, but it's a hard place to lay in this one. I do think the game goes over that total as well. So the game to the over, let me just pull that up, you guys, is over 6.5 at -104. So I think they can get there in this one, even if it's the Sharks come out in that first period, get a goal, and then we go into the second period and the Washington Capitals run away with this game here at home, because we know they are the better team, but I just always like finding a way to bet the Sharks. Let's look at the Detroit Red Wings. They are taking on the Boston Bruins. The Bruins are a -176 favorite here at home. Overpriced, I think, +146 for the Detroit Red Wings. I think there is value in them. Husso confirmed to get the start tonight. Now, Husso's numbers versus the Bruins don't even look. It's not pretty. Husso's numbers so far this season, not pretty either. This one's got a total of 6.5 +108. It's actually moved. We were getting 5.5 juice to the over. It's being pushed to that 6.5. I still think we go over that total. I trust in the Red Wings. They've been stepping up as of late, getting these goals on the board. This is a team, though, in some games, well, a lot of games this season have struggled to score. But Swayman hasn't been at his best. When we look at the Boston Bruins, and yeah, since Jim Montgomery has been fired, they've gone 4-2, but I don't love their schedule, the teams that they have faced. And I do think the Red Wings will come in here with oomph in their step in this game, if that's a way to go. But I'm looking at them over 2.5 goals for the Red Wings. I just want to see if that's moved, because the Red Wings over 2.5 goals pre-show was coming in at -110. I just want to see if there's still value. Over 2.5 goals, it's juiced now at -128. I still think that has every possibility of cashing. I just want to see if Swayman is still expected in net here for the Bruins tonight. Yeah, he's still listed as expected for the Bruins. I'm seeing your guys' notes of Jarvis move to that third line tonight. Yeah, that's going to be, don't parlay Jarvis for any points tonight. Move down to that third line. I can see him scoring, though, for the Carolina Hurricanes, Jay, on that third line. I do think he'll bring strength on that third line tonight. So if you're looking at Seth Jarvis, just look at him for the anytime goal, but don't look at him parlayed with those points with Aho, since they're not on the same line tonight. Okay, so again, the Bruins are too big of a favorite for me. I think the Red Wings can get things done. I took the over 2.5 goals when it was -110 at -128. Still value here in that, but I think you can just look at the Red Wings to pull off the upset. I got them at +155, now +146. Not much of a move here, but we are seeing money come in, and I do think they can get things done here on the road. I just think the Bruins are overpriced, and when I'm looking at a team that's overpriced here at home, they don't They don't instill enough. And yes, they're coming off a win versus Montreal 6-3, but they don't instill enough confidence for me to say they're going to nicely beat the Red Wings at home. If I'm getting such a good value on the Red Wings, it's hockey, guys. It's puck luck. Anything can happen. This team has lost their last two. But that last game on Sunday was in OT to the Vancouver Canucks. Who's a better team in your opinion, the Bruins or the Vancouver Canucks? In my opinion, it is the Vancouver Canucks over the Bruins. I think they're a much stronger team, especially offensively out there. We know the Bruins have been struggling to score. They're trying to lock down on a defense. Swayman hasn't looked like Swayman that he did last season. So give me the Red Wings here in this one. I think it does go over that 6.5 still. A 4-3 style game in this. Last time these two teams met up, actually no, last time these two teams met up, I think it stayed to the under. When we look at the Bruins versus the Red Wings have played the Bruins stronger on their home ice, and the Bruins have played stronger versus Red Wings on their home ice. So there is a home ice advantage. The Bruins have won 55.9% of their home games versus Detroit, and Detroit's only won 33.8% of those road games. But I just see them pulling it off here tonight because of that value, you guys. The value is just screaming at me. You're going to lean on the Red Wings as well. Yeah, exactly. They're just overvalued at -170. It's just not a bet you can get behind here with the Red Wings. Let's look for the upset tonight, you guys. The Florida Panthers taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins is the next game up, 7:09 Eastern for this one. The Florida Panthers are a -184 favorite, +152 for the Pittsburgh Penguins at home at +152, total 6.5. So we were looking, Sidney Crosby's 2 games away from game 1300. I tell you, Sid just making records all across the board. So this is game 1299 for Sidney Crosby tonight. So something to note for his next game out there. Bobrovsky expected in net for the Florida Panthers, and Novakovic expected here for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now the Penguins, Sidney Crosby's 1200 game will be at the Rangers, so on the road on Friday. They'll be home on Saturday versus the Leafs. This team's sitting 8th in the Metro, 1st in the Atlantic for the Florida Panthers. They won their last 3. They got that shutout win versus the Canes, 6-0 at home, and they did beat them on Friday. So they played really strong on that second night of a back-to-back, the home and road situation or road and home situation. They'll be at the Flyers on Thursday. This team is steamrolling. When this team scores 3 or more goals, they're 15-2 in their last 17 in this situation. So as long as this team can put 3 goals on the board, they have every opportunity of winning. You look at the Pittsburgh Penguins, they're 6-6-2 at home this season. Doesn't instill a lot of confidence. We know those goals have been coming in. The defense has been lacking. But offensively, we have seen that step up, especially out of Sidney Crosby and Malkin. And I do think they're the catalyst driving the offense here. Erik Karlsson has been strong for them as well. I would look at this first period to start off with a bang. I'm taking the over 1.5 goals in the first period. That's coming in at -134. And both teams to score in the first period at +168. So I'm going to put a full unit on both of them. I really do feel like the Penguins will get on the board in the first period. And I know you got to know the Florida Panthers will get on the board in the first period. This team is so strong offensively. They've been strong on the road versus the Eastern Conference opponents as well. So really, if you want to bet the Florida Panthers, you got to take them puck line here, laying 1.5 at +136. They have every ability. Will this be a letdown spot after beating the Carolina Hurricanes twice? And now they're facing the Pittsburgh Penguins? It could be, but you look at their schedule. They got the win on Saturday. It's Tuesday. They're at the Flyers on Thursday. I don't know. Not much of a letdown spot for me. I don't really see it being a game that they're going to look past the Pittsburgh Penguins. I think they really get up to play Sidney Crosby as well. You look at Matthew Tkachuk, so strong out there on the ice. So I'm going to just stay with this game, first period over 1.5, and both teams to score in the first period. But I won't be shocked if the Florida Panthers come out and cover that puck line, you guys. We are on to the matchup between the Colorado Avalanche and the Buffalo Sabres. Now, over on FanDuel, this game is coming in as the Avs a favorite, and the juice keeps ticking up. There are -142 money line favorite coming into today. And now they're unbettable, for me at least, on that money line. I won't lay over minus 144, especially in hockey. Plus 134 here for the Buffalo Sabres. This total 6.5. It's interesting to see the line moving on this total. It's minus 122 to the under and plus 100 to the over. Give me the over all day. It was minus 102, so we're starting to see the under bets and the Colorado bets coming into play. I think this one has every opportunity to go to overtime. I got it already to go to overtime. That's coming in at plus 310. I think it goes over the total of 6.5 because we go to that overtime. We're gonna sweat it out in that third period. I really do feel. And now, would I be shocked though if we really had that explosive first period where we got 4 goals and then we got the lockdown and then we get those, goals 5 and 6 in the third? I won't be shocked if it plays out that way. I do think both of these teams start off hot. And then we see a little bit of issues because of the defenses locking down and us sweating the overtime and us sweating the over. But I really do think it's a nice opportunity to see a 4-3 overtime game here. Scott Wedgwood expected for the Colorado Avalanche, and he's just not a goaltender I have a lot of faith in. He's 1-2-1 on the season with a 3.20 goals against average and an 878 save percentage, like you can expect it here for the Buffalo Sabres. Now, he's got a 909 save percentage out there, 2.54 goals against average. Colorado, we know how strong they are on that power play, converting at 27.2% of the time. But we do have a strong kill here for the Buffalo Sabres. They're going to have to do their best to stay out of the box. Now, we've seen a little bit of line shifting. Jason Zucker is on the top line in the top power play right now with Tage Thompson and Alex Tuch. So Jason Zucker, I like him tonight for the power play point. I think he can get it done tonight, even if it's the assist to Tage Thompson or Alex Tuch. I think he has every ability to get on there. Now, his power play point is plus 470 right now on the book. So I'm loving that. I'm also loving Tage Thompson, Alex Tuch for their points. You can take all 3 of them. Jason Zucker, Alex Tuch, and Tage Thompson for a point tonight, parlay them together. If you just parlay Tage Thompson, because Jason Zucker actually isn't listed on FanDuel for the points, if you just take Tage Thompson and Alex Tuch, parlay them for a point, again, they're on that top line together on the top power play. That's coming in at plus 120. That is the connection that we're seeing a ton out there for the Buffalo Sabres. When one of these guys gets the goal, the other one gets the assist. But I love Jason Zucker thrown into that left wing role on that top line. I think he is impactful in tonight's game. Now, when we look at the Colorado Avalanche, how strong this power play can be. And this team really does step up. Again, their power play coming in at 27.2% versus the Sabres. The Sabres power play coming in at 15.3%. But you look at the Avs defensively on that power play, they've struggled. Their kill's only 71.9%. So that's why I'm looking at power play points for the Buffalo Sabres tonight. When I look at Colorado, they'll be able to convert as well, even though it's a strong kill here for Buffalo. This team is just too strong. You got to look at Cale Makar and Nathan MacKinnon for those power play points. But again, overtime game for me, over 6.5 goals in this game. I think we're going to be in for a good one. You guys, we're already at the 8 p.m. Eastern mark. Again, we're going over every single game today. We will circle back to a recap at the end of the show. So if you can't stick around, come back for the recap. And in the chat, let me know what your favorite bet is of the day, who you like for those player points as well, those anytime goals. Let's try to make some freaking money out there. I love to hear what you guys are betting, and I love to hear where you guys are watching from. So also drop that in the live chat after this video, and if you could retweet, and share, I would greatly appreciate it, you guys. So let's jump into the Vancouver Canucks versus the Minnesota Wild. I'm just finding current lines on FanDuel for this one. The Vancouver Canucks are the dog on the road at plus 118. Minus 142 here for the Wild. We haven't seen much movement in this line. That total sitting at 5.5. Minus 114 to the under, minus 106 to the over. I'm looking for this one to stay under that total. I would take the under 5.5 right now before you're going to have to lay more juice. I also like Vancouver's team total under 2.5. It's coming in at minus 108. And I'm liking the Minnesota Wild on the puck line. Yes, I'm liking the puck line here for the Wild. They're only minus 142, not outside of the range for a money line bet that I would normally take. But as soon as I looked at this game, I went Wild 2-0, Wild 3-1. That is how this game is going to play out automatically in my head, is what I believe to be true. And now the Vancouver Canucks are so strong offensively, but you look at the Wild, you look at their defense, you look what they bring to the table. And I think they're going to shut down Vancouver tonight. I really think Gustafsson can get the shutout. Now, shutout props are not up as of yet. And let me just double check that to make sure. Goalie props are just out. Now, Gustafsson over 24.5 save shots on goal. Sign me up all day. That's coming in at -120. The Wild do a strong job of shutting down their opponent's ability to get those shots. But because I think Gustafsson is going to play that strong tonight, in net could get the shutout, I'm going to take the over 24.5. Now, I would also sprinkle on the shutout if you can get it on your book. Still not listed over here on FanDuel. As the day goes on, we will get those lines for the shutout. I think he has every ability to be able to do so. So now the Wild have won their last 3 games. They're off an overtime win on Saturday at home versus the Predators 3-2. This is their last home game before a 3-game road trip. They have the Ducks on Friday, the Kings on Saturday, and on Tuesday versus Utah. We could see that Friday game versus the Ducks be a letdown spot where it's still a lower scoring game, but the Ducks cover the puck line. You know, Minnesota is going to be close to a $3 favorite versus the Ducks, even though they're on the road in that one. But I look here at Vancouver. So they've won their last 2 games, overtime win on Sunday versus the Red Wings. Their last 2 games have gone to overtime. I'm expected tired legs out here. This is the last game of a 6-game road trip as well. They're 4-1 on this road trip. I think they go home on this road trip 4-2. Take the big loss tonight, but still a successful road trip. Just such a long road trip out here for this team. They are ready to get home. They're sitting 3rd in the Pacific, and I do think that they are a solid team, but I think the defense locks down here for the Wild tonight. Now, they haven't covered the puck line in their last 5, so taking the puck line here, I know looks a little scary because this team hasn't been blowing teams out, but I really do think Kaprizov steps up in this game. I'm going to take Kaprizov for the anytime goal at +120. You could also look at Matt Boldy. He's coming in at +180. I have a feeling it's a Kaprizov game. Gustafsson, the last time he played against Vancouver, he struggled, right? He allowed, I think, it was 5 goals in 40 minutes on 16 shots on net. It was last season. It's still going to be in his head. The last time, so he got yanked, the last time these teams played was last February. It was freaking pond hockey out there. 10-7 win for the Wild. So I'm looking for Gustafsson to remember what this team did to him in the last game out, because the games prior, he let in 2 or 1 goal. He was so strong. So I'm looking for that bounce back. He's being hot out there on the ice, and I think he can get it done. So let's move on to the next game, you guys. Gustafsson for the shutout win is definitely something, as soon as those props come up, that I will be hitting. The St. Louis Blues taking on the Winnipeg Jets. Now, current lines on this, let me just pull them up. I'm on a different tab here on FanDuel. The St. Louis Blues are a +180 underdog. It's tempting, you guys, but I can't do it against the Winnipeg Jets here at home. The Jets have had a hard slog in November. They've hardly played any games at home. They're -220 here. As the home favorite, total 5.5. Now the under 5.5 is coming in at -105. I talked about Jordan Binnington and that record at the top of the show. So let me just go back to that. There's so many tabs here on these hockey references that I look at. So let's just go to Binnington. No, I don't want goals. I want goalies. See, I told you, so many tabs here. Binnington is sitting at game 299 going into today will be game 300. His 300th game. Expect Binnington to stand on his head tonight. These players know it. These goaltenders know it. And I look here at the Winnipeg Jets. The Winnipeg Jets have lost their last 3. Sunday on the road versus the Stars, 3-1. They've been playing so much on the road. They're going to be so happy to get home in this one. Binnington, his career numbers versus the Jets, he's got a .903 save percentage. Connor Hellebuck, career numbers versus the Blues, .929 save percentage. This is going to be a goaltending duel all day. The under 5.5 at -105. Sign me up. The under 1.5 in the first period, sign me up. I would look at the Jets to cover the puck line, though. Again, I think this could be a 2-1 game, 1-0 game. This is going to be a tight one. There is value here on the Winnipeg Jets on that puck line. The puck line for the Winnipeg Jets, +1.5 at +120. I really want to have faith in Binghamton in game 300 here and the St. Louis Blues to get it done. But this Jets team, off those 3 losses, we know how dangerous this team is. They've also covered the puck line in their last 5 at home versus the St. Louis Blues. Too many trends to not put me here on the Winnipeg Jets just to get a 2-0, 3-1 kind of win. I think the best bet is taking it under that total. Now, that total was 6.5. Now moving down to 5.5 at -105. It's still fine. Sign me up for that. I do think it's the best bet. We do see the Blues off the loss to the Flyers Saturday in overtime, 3-2. This is going to be a battle. Could this one go to overtime? Absolutely. And let's just see if we've got any goalie props up in this one. As of yet, you guys, yes, the goalie props have come in. We are not getting confirmation yet of Jordan Binnington, so the props are not up on FanDuel for him, but we have Connor Hellebuyck. His safe shots on goal tonight coming in at 25.5 at -120 to the over. I do like the Jets' ability to really limit their opponent's ability to get these shots on goal, so I wouldn't touch Connor Hellebuyck. When Jordan Binnington comes out, you guys, if you're getting him 25, 26, 27, 28 safe shots on goal, I would look for it. Could this be a game they pull it off and Jordan Binnington gets a shutout in game 300? I don't know, you guys. He freaking stood on his head the last time we saw Binnington out there. The saves that he's been able to make as of late have been phenomenal. So, you know what? The more I talk about this, the more I think about it, this could be the perfect upset. The Winnipeg Jets have been losing. They've been on the road. They're coming home. Maybe, just maybe, take the under 5.5. The St. Louis Blues could be live in Jordan Binnington's game number 300 tonight. So I'm going to stay off that puck line. I liked it coming into the show. I hadn't bet it yet. It was one that I'd been debating in my head. But Jordan Binnington, we could get that huge win for him. And if we do, it's why. It really is. Okay, the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Calgary Flames, next game on deck. We know these teams already faced out last week, and the Columbus Blue Jackets walked away with the win. Columbus rolling into Calgary up +112, -134 for the Calgary Flames, and the total sitting at 6.5. -115 to the under, -105 to the over. Now, Wolf is expected in goal for Calgary, and he's been absolutely standing on his head, especially at home. 8-4-1 on the season with a 2.60 goals against average and a .918 save percentage. Elvis is expected here for the Columbus Blue Jackets. 8-5-2 on the season with the 3.07 goals against average and an .894 save percentage. Now, Columbus, off that emotional win over Calgary at home, then was able to beat the Chicago Blackhawks, which is something I didn't think. Calgary lost in Columbus, and then they lost their last game to the Pittsburgh Penguins 9-2. I expected Calgary to lose to the Pittsburgh Penguins off that emotional loss to Columbus. It's so hard with what these teams are going through without Johnny Gaudreau out there on the ice and how much he meant to both of these teams. Now, if you don't know, Calgary originally drafted Gaudreau. He played 9 seasons with us up here in Calgary before he left to go play with the Columbus Blue Jackets. These guys on these teams are incredible friends out there, especially Monahan. Monahan being his best friend that actually came to Columbus for this season to play with Johnny before this tragic accident. So he is playing every single game out there for Johnny. Calgary will be celebrating Johnny Gaudreau tonight and his family, having his family in. Guy, his dad, has been out there on the ice skating with all of these guys, skating with a stick. That was Johnny. So it's super emotional for everyone out there. I think this is a game that you sit back and you really take it in and enjoy seeing these guys out there together. I'm like starting to tear up. I am sorry here. It's such a hard subject to talk about. Johnny meant so much to the hockey community, and so did Matthew, and so much to Calgary. All of us fans up here, it's devastation. It's devastation for the family as well. So look at Monahan, look at his best friend to get that anytime goal here on Dustin Wolf. That's coming in at +280 for the Columbus Blue Jackets. And Backlund, I'm going to circle back to get that goal as well, coming in at +210. But you know, all of these guys will be playing for Johnny tonight. So it should be a good game. I don't want to take a side. Calgary, it makes sense to take them here at home with Wolf in that. I just don't want to get there. I just want to see a couple of goals by his best of best friends and call it a day. Okay, let's talk the Edmonton Oilers. Let's talk the Oilers versus Vegas, you guys. Got to get on that subject. The Edmonton Oilers coming in at -132 plus 110 for the Vegas Golden Knights in the Fortress. Ooh, that is so tempting. Underdog in the Fortress for the home team in Vegas here, a total of 6.5. 6.5. It's -110 to either way of the 6.5. I'm taking this game to go to overtime. Plus 310 for this one to go to overtime. I still don't trust Stuart Skinner here for the Edmonton Oilers. 4-2-1 on the season, or 4-2-1 in 7 games versus Vegas with an .895 save percentage. When we look at Adin Hill, expected here for the Vegas Golden Knights, 2-2-1 in 6 games versus the Edmonton Oilers, .899 save percentage. Neither of these goaltenders perform well versus each other. This is a battle of the Pacific. Edmonton looking to climb the ranks, sitting 4th, and the Vegas Golden Knights 1st in the Pacific. Edmonton's been so strong on the road, 8-3-1 on the season. In their last 8 games, on the road, they've won 6 of those. So this is really a strength. But you look at the Vegas Golden Knights at home, 9-3 this season. They won their last 4 versus the Pacific at home. They are off and ugly. And I'm talking ugly loss to Utah at home in the Fortress. They lost that 6-0, getting shut out. This is the first night of a back-to-back. They got the Ducks on deck tomorrow. I tell you, the Ducks are in a position to pull off a close game tomorrow versus Vegas based on how this one goes. That this is a really highly physical game out there. A lot of hard hits. I would look at coming in on the Ducks live tonight when you're watching this game for how it's playing out, plus the 1.5 on the puck line. We know Vegas going in to Anaheim is going to be a huge favorite, and I like the Ducks' ability to keep it tight. We know this Duck team has been covering that puck line, so I would be looking at that depending on how this game goes tonight. If Edmonton blows out Vegas, I want to touch the Ducks tomorrow. You know how mad they're going to be, especially Jack Eichel. He's going to come out with a fire lit under him tonight as well. He's been playing such good hockey, and to be shut out in that last game, especially when he's on a path this year to break some of his records, I do think he comes out on fire tonight. Now, give me the overtime. Zach Hyman should be back in the lineup here for the Edmonton Oilers tonight. Still no confirmation. I think this is an interesting one. This game can either go the lockdown on the defense, hard-hitting 3-2 win in overtime, or it could be the 4-3 win in overtime. So I'm not touching a side or a total because I have so much faith in this one being that tight of a game. You get a little bit of puck luck, you're going to lose your bet on either side. The overtime bet plus 310. If you really do feel like one of these teams will get 4 goals, you're getting the best value on the Vegas Golden Knights over 3.5 goals at plus 140. And the Oilers over 3.5 at plus 108 is theirs. I just don't trust Skinner. I trust Adin Hill more. So if I wanted to really look at that team total, it would be Vegas I'd put up first, and you're getting better value on Vegas. Now, Vegas did win at the start of November this matchup 4-2. So holding the Edmonton Oilers down. The Oilers are really trying to play that lockdown defensive hockey. So it could be a low scoring game. I lean to the over, though, you guys. I think the best bet just is the overtime. Jack Eichel, he had 5 goals and 15 assists in the month of November. So strong this season. He has 36 points in 25 games. He's definitely on track to hit his best season of all. So that is where I would look for the goal scorer for Vegas is Jack Eichel to get back on track. Okay, you guys, are you ready? Let's do the recap. Let's have a huge bounce back from yesterday. We're at the 44-minute mark. Let's hit it. Some of these lines have moved a little bit, so I just won't shout out the money line. You guys know if I'm calling a money line, it's plus money, so or low juice. The New York Islanders taking on the Montreal Canadiens. I think Montreal has every ability to get the win here at home. Give me the home dog in the Montreal Canadiens. I'm also going to look at Patrick Laine to come out and make a huge impact here in his debut for Montreal. Give me Patrick Laine for the anytime goal at plus 260. Now you could look at his 2+ points tonight and call Caulfield's point tonight, parlay those together, and I think you're in the money. Looking at the Seattle Kraken and the Carolina Hurricanes. I think this is Canes all day long. They've lost their last two. They're going to be pissed off after losing to the Florida Panthers. Give me the Canes full game puck line laying 1.5. Give me Aho for the power play point tonight. That's coming in at plus 215. I do like Brett Burns for his point tonight as well. Again, second power play unit as well as top defensive line. He's coming in at plus 140 for a point. And the Carolina Hurricanes first period puck line, I love. The San Jose Sharks and the Washington Capitals. The Sharks in the first period on the money line, best bet in this game. They have won the first period in their last 5 versus the Washington Capitals. Now, again, we talked about this. If you don't want to take the money line for the Sharks in the first period, but you still think they're going to score a goal, you're better off taking the Sharks for an anytime goal in the first period at minus 118 over taking that puck line for the Sharks here in the first period plus 1.5 plus a half a goal, because the plus half a goal is coming in at minus 132. If this goes 0-0, then yes, you win it going into the second period. If it goes 1-1, yes, you win it going into the second period. But if the Sharks can score in the first period, I feel a lot more confident with them being able to put up that goal. And with the juice that we're laying here at minus 118 for the anytime goal in the first period, I think it is a slam dunk in this game tonight. Now, I won't be surprised if the Capitals run away with it at the end. I do lean on the Sharks plus 1.5, but I don't love it. I think that first period is where you want to get in on the Sharks and then get out. Tyler Toffoli celebrating is where I would look there for the Sharks as well. The Detroit Red Wings versus the Boston Bruins. Bruins are just overvalued, you guys. It's got to be the Red Wings with the plus money here on the road. Again, these lines have been shifting. The over 2.5 goals was minus 110. It's now minus 128. I still do believe in this team to get 3 goals on the board. And because I believe in them to get 3 goals, I do think this one goes over that total. You're getting so much better value, though, and just staying off the total, looking at the Red Wings team total in case the Bruins lay an egg in this one and can't hit Husso, which they should be able to. He doesn't have great numbers versus the Bruins, but this Bruins team hasn't really been scoring a heck of a lot of goals. And yes, they opened up in their last couple, putting those goals on the board. But Detroit can lock down in some of these games. They don't score a heck of a lot of goals either. They have as of late too. So I do lean to the over. I liked it better at 5.5 than the 6.5. I think the Red Wings to pull off the upset is the best bet, and their team total over 2.5. The Florida Panthers versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. Give me a high impactful offensive first period. Give me both teams to score in the first period at plus 168 and the over 1.5 goals. That's coming in at minus 134. I do think both of these teams play strong in that first. I lean for this full game to go over, but this is another one of those games where we could see the explosive first period, the lockdown in the second, and us sweating that third period to push us to the over. So I will stay off of that, but I do like that first period high scoring one. The Colorado Avalanche and the Buffalo Sabres. I think the Avs team total over 3.5 is a solid look here at plus 108. I think that they can score in this game, but I'm not counting out the Buffalo Sabres either. I like some of their line movement here. I think this line goes, or this game goes to overtime. We go over the 6.5 because of that, and I could see the Avs winning in OT. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one over 6.5. I'm going to take the overtime bet at plus 310. I'm going to look at Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon. I'm going to parlay each of them for a point. Then you're getting plus money. And then I'm going to look at Tage Thompson and Alex Tuck for a point tonight, parlayed together. That's coming in at plus 120. I'm going to take Jason Zucker here of the Buffalo Sabres for the power play point tonight at plus 470. We look here, and I know the power play is not great for the Sabres at 15.3%, but you got to look at the kill here. For the Colorado Avalanche, that kill is only 71.9%. Now, we know the power play is strong here for Colorado. We got a stronger kill here for the Buffalo Sabres, but I still think Colorado will score in that power play. So if you want to look at a point on the power play, I'd circle Cale Makar. The Vancouver Canucks versus the Minnesota Vikings. Or not Minnesota Vikings. Wow, that was a slip. Minnesota Wild here. I am going to look at the Wild to come out so strong. Win this in a lower scoring game. I love Gustafsson here. I think he has every ability to get a shutout win versus the Vancouver Canucks. He has been playing so hot out there on the ice. I think Kaprizov can find the back of the net for the Minnesota Wild. His anytime goal coming in at plus 120. I'm going to take the Wild to win it. Now, the money line is juicing at minus 142. But I also like that puck line. I think they can win this 2-0 if Gustafsson does what I expect him in this game to do. That's coming in the puck line -1.5 at +172. I'm looking for that 2-0 win. So we've seen Vancouver lose their last 6 here in Minnesota, and they're off 2 overtime games. I think this is a tired team. I'll take Vancouver's team total under 2.5 at -108. This full game to the under. And again, as soon as I get Gustafsson for the shutout, you guys know I'm jumping on that. Now, could it be a 2-1 game? Absolutely. But then Vancouver still stays under that total. Yes, we won't hit Gustafsson for the shutout. And it's a long shot to take a goalie for a shutout. But you know when you get that gut feeling? I got that gut feeling tonight. And now we talk about the St. Louis Blues and the Winnipeg Jets. And that gut feeling, the Binghamton, it just keeps getting stronger. Plays absolutely fantastic in game number 300 tonight is all I can think about. I'm going to take this one under the total. I do think we have a strong performance out of both of these teams. The under 5.5 is -105. That total has moved from a 6.5. I would look at Binghamton's save shots on goal if it gets confirmation. Now, this all goes out the window. If Binghamton's not in net tonight, take the Jets, laying the 1.5 on the puck line at +128. This team absolutely needs a bounce back. If Binghamton's in goal, he's played elite hockey. He's been making saves that are like he's standing on his freaking head out there, and this is game number 300 for him. There is no way I'm going to fade Binghamton tonight in that situation. So if it's Binghamton in net, the under 5.5 all day long. Look at Binghamton for his save shots on goal. And you guys, I'm going to do it. St. Louis Blues pull off the upset coming into Winnipeg tonight. If it is anyone but Binghamton, the Jets win this, cover the puck line, and I wouldn't touch the total. So while I still think Connor Hellebuyck has a strong night, I just can't trust backup goaltending for them here. The Columbus Blue Jackets versus the Calgary Flames. Again, you guys, I want to sit back and enjoy this. I'm going to look at Shane Monahan, Johnny Gaudreau's best friend, to come back and honor him tonight with that anytime goal that's coming in at +280. And I'm going to look at Backlund here to do the same for the Calgary Flames at +210. We got strong goaltending in for Calgary with Dustin Wolf. He's been so hot. Elvis in the building. The Gaudreau family in the building. This is going to be the night. This is going to be a night you just want to sit back. Take those goal scorers, watch the game. Don't worry about who gets the win. Just appreciate seeing all these guys out there on the ice tonight. And then the Edmonton Oilers versus the Vegas Golden Knights. Give me the overtime in this at +310. I do think both of these teams put on a show tonight. Edmonton has been strong. They played strong in the Fortress. Zach Hyman should be back in the lineup. Jack Eichel looking not terribly to bounce back, but looking to bounce back. It's got to be weighing on his shoulders after they got shut out in the last game. He has been driving this team out there for the Vegas Golden Knights. Give me the overtime game at +310. I do think it goes over because of the goaltending and because of the drive of Vegas in this one. Could Vegas win in overtime? Absolutely. Could Edmonton win in overtime? Absolutely. I just like the overtime bet. Thank you so much for tuning in. Connor McDavid over 3.5 shots on goal tonight versus Vegas. Yeah, you know what? Connor McDavid has been getting those shots on goal. This team has been playing so strong out there on the road. They've won their last 3. They're coming off that win versus the Colorado Avalanche, 4-1 in their last game out. And if we just quickly pull up Connor McDavid and what he's been doing out there on the ice, because I just want to look at his last couple of games, you guys. I do have faith in him. He really steps up, especially versus the Pacific, able to get those shots on goal. So let's just look at his numbers over the last couple to see what he's been doing out there and to give you guys the right numbers. I never want to give you guys the wrong numbers. So in his last game out versus Colorado, he was able to put up 4 shots on goal. Versus Utah, he had 6. Versus the Rangers, he had 3. Minnesota, the Minnesota one is really what I circle. Minnesota is so strong on the defensive side of the puck. He was still able to put up 4 shots on goal. Versus Ottawa, they have a really strong defense as well, 5 shots on goal. And you go back all the way to November 18th. That's when he had that letdown game versus the Montreal Canadiens, only able to put up 1. So when we look at him over those 3.5, the last time he didn't go over it was versus the New York Rangers on the 23rd. But prior to that, Montreal on the 18th. And then we have to go all the way back to Vegas on November 6th. He was only able to put up 2 shots on goal. This is why we're getting a 3.5, because Vegas absolutely knows to lock down Connor McDavid out there. But if you're getting value on Connor McDavid for the over, 3.5 shots at -110. I would take a shot on him tonight as well. We need the OT goal scorer. How about McKinnon? Yeah, if Colorado wins it, you can see Nathan McKinnon closing that out. I like Nathan McKinnon and how strong he comes out in overtime. He's one of the most competitive guys out there, Nate Dogg, as I like to call him, on the ice and everything. He wants to get the win. Okay, we will look at the top 5 players for those player props tonight. First and foremost, for me, it's Gustafsson and Binghamton. The 2 goaltenders that I think will be the hottest tonight. So if you get confirmation of those guys, their safe shots on goal to the over for both of them. I think both have the possibility of getting the shutout. So 2 of my favorite prop bets tonight are on the Minnesota Wild's goaltender, Gustafsson, and the St. Louis Blues goaltender, Binghamton. Now, still no confirmation on Binghamton. Again, Binghamton game number 300 tonight. When we look at who else I'm liking, you got to look at the storyline for Columbus. It's Monahan to get that anytime goal. I love him to come out strong, and Backlund to get that anytime goal. So those 2 are storyline goals tonight for sure. With the Wild, it's Kaprizov. I like him to come out nice and strong. And then Jason Zucker. I really like Jason Zucker for the point tonight for the Buffalo Sabres. So that is where I'm going with my favorite prop bets for these games. And then Jack Eichel for Vegas. So those are the prop bets. Those are the recaps, you guys. Thanks for joining me here for the last hour on Pocket with Jo, on SportsGrid, on SportsGrid TV, on X. I appreciate each and every one of you for joining. Again, if you can hit that like button, hit that retweet button, drop a comment below. Let me know what you're liking out there on the ice. I'm seeing over all of these platforms. We have so many people watching, you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys join me here every day, and we need a big bounce back off yesterday. Let's get that bounce back today. 10-game slate out there on the ice. I want to hear everything that you're liking, anything that you're parlaying. So all the best in all your bets. We'll be back here tomorrow on SportsGrid TV on X at noon Eastern. Enjoy tonight's action.